What is good, YouTube? Wish you here with a video on Captain America 4, A Brave New World. Well, to be honest, Marvel would be brave to release this movie because it's going to have to turn close to $900 million just to break even. But there's even more rumors, news, leaks about this movie. Some of them are actually so freaking wild that if one of them happens, maybe it could just save this movie. Because it's that damn wild that I'm not sure if I believe it. So if you are new around here, make sure you subscribe to never miss any of the content. Marvel, DC, pop culture, kaiju, monsterverse, all the good stuff. So check us out on Instagram at Reshoots to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Check us out on Twitter, Reshoots. Right, let's get into it. So it's worth saying that when it comes to the post-credit and stuff like that, realistically, no one knows what they're on about. So there has been multiple test screenings that have done pretty bad. At first, the fake scoopers denied it, but then they actually had to admit that, yeah, the test screens are pretty damn bad. And it seems that whatever Marvel seems to add or take away or change, it just does not flow properly. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of people seem to think I'm against Sam Wilson becoming Captain America. Anthony Mackie is a very, very good actor. I rate him highly as an actor. Just for me, he's not Captain America yet. Yes, we had a Captain America TV show where he became Captain America. And yes, I read the comments where people say, yeah, he became Captain America when old man Steve Rogers gave him the shield. That did not make him Captain America. So that's my gripe. My gripe isn't that he's not a good actor. It's just he does not feel like Captain America. And the negative feedback from the test screenings also says the movie doesn't really make you feel like he's Captain America, and there isn't really a logical reason of why he is Captain America. So yeah, sure, I am looking forward to watching this movie, but I'm here to report this news in my own style. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear. So let's break down some new information. So firstly, this is about how the movie allegedly ends. Although we've covered this multiple times before, this is a slightly different take. Sam Wilson fights Red Hulk in the ruins of the White House. Betty arrives and seeing her allows Ross to momentarily regain control. Wilson stabs him with the adamantium and siphons the gamma radiation off his blood, restoring Ross to the human form. This lines up with the reports from the last kind of plot leaks that were going around. Basically the same. And the biggest criticism is obviously the Green Hulk, the main Hulk, literally has no invulnerability. But here it seems like the MCU version of the Red Hulk will be invulnerable to adamantium and can be stabbed. Make of that what you want. Ross surrenders to the authorities and is placed on the raft until Betty can find a cure for his condition. This basically lines up. It's worded slightly different with the other information. A CEO Bradley is released from prison because he's under, the mind control of the leader. Ruth returns to service, and Sam decides to honor Ross' request and reassembles the Avengers with Torres, aka the new Falcon, as his first recruit. Now, realistically, this is pretty much the same lads as all the other information that we've had. It's just slightly reworded. In the other information, we got information like the leader's goals were very vague and he was throwing things out like, you don't know what is how. Let's just go over the exact paraphrase of how it's said. Sam visits the leader in the raft, mentions something about giving Hulk juice to Amadeus Cho, who essentially is going to become some variation of a variation Hulk. And Stern, aka the leader, goes, something big and bad is coming. Sam is like, I'll be ready. That's it. No one else shows up. I don't know if it's referring to Dr. Doom, the incursions. The leader is supposed to be all-knowing, but they did a weak job portraying that. I believe this is somewhat true. Now, we have had it confirmed based on the actor. Basically said he had to go back to do a bunch of reshoots, which it's never a good thing, but it's never a bad thing. But if you look at the reshoots that took place for Ant-Man 3, that wasn't a good thing because we had the massive setup with the Council of Kangs and there was no payoff. A lot of people have issues with the Marvel post-credit scenes because they don't go anywhere. And I'm of the opinion that if the post-credit scenes are not going to go anywhere, what the freaking point of having them? Now, I've heard a bunch of multiple things, which is insane. I've heard one variation of post-credit scene that Nick Fury turns up and he comes towards Sam, says they've got to reassemble the Avengers, and says somehow Thanos has returned. And we get it, right? This could I like going over stuff that could not be true, but it might be. Hypothetically, we know Josh Brolin recently was hanging out with Robert Downey Jr. and the Russo brothers. We know they are having a King Thanos ride at Disneyland in America. Why do I say America? Because I'm not from America. That's why I say that. So realistically, are they going to throw a line? Somehow Thanos has returned and it turns out it's a different Thanos. Now that would be so hard if that is the case. Also, I've heard a variation of a post-credit scene, stroke ending. It wasn't clear that Chris Evans, Captain America, somehow returns at the end of the movie with Nick Fury. And they're like, Nick Fury says, we've got to reassemble the Avengers. And the only one that steps through in the scene, and he's literally standing in front of the new Captain America, is the actual real Captain America, Chris Evans. And he's like, let's reassemble the Avengers. Now, I'm not saying if that's true or not. I mean, both of these are, I don't know. Like I say, I don't really give creditation or validity to anyone when it comes to information because the biggest scoopers in the game barely get anything right anymore. So I don't really give anyone the validity in that sense. And there's also another one going around, which again is a variation of another one, because if you remember about a year ago, there was a post-credit scene that literally had the Avengers being reassembled, but in this case, it had the likes of Miss Marvel, Shang-Chi, War Stew, Doctor Strange. It had a bunch of characters on the screen like it was almost reforming the Avengers. But there is this one going around that people are covering, so let's go over this one. So the post-credit reads like this, where Nick Fury ends up in Sam Wilson's house in the end and shows him files of Street Level and other heroes to make a new Avengers team, with Shang-Chi and Daredevil are apparently some of these. I don't know if there's any validity to any of this, but realistically, could they bring Chris Evans back? Sure. Is Chris Evans probably going to be part of a multiversal Dark Avengers team and playing Captain Hydra America in Doomsday? Sure. We don't know. But like I've said, it's more interesting going over things that aren't going to be true than are going to be true. But every variation is basically the movie is going to end with the reforming of the Avengers. And quite frankly, out of all these, I really hope that somehow Thanos has returned post-credit is going to be true. Because if that's the case, when normies go to the movies, like, oh no, we know who Thanos is. But obviously this will be King Thanos. An omnipotent version, a god tier version, even stronger than the one that basically erased half the universe. Now, I think this would be clever. I'm not saying it's true, but the Marvel fandom, the casuals, everyone knows who Thanos is. No one knows who Doctor Doom is, because when you ask them who Robert Downey Jr. is playing, they're like, oh, he's returning as that villain. Yeah, because unless you're like a Marvel person or, you know, a pop culture person, let's be honest, not that many people read comics. Like the normies that go to cinema don't care for comics. So if they were to introduce Thanos in a post-credit scene for this movie, or get Nick Fury saying, somehow Thanos has returned, and this could almost alliterate to the audience, there is a multiverse out there, and it's a Thanos from a different universe. That would be freaking sick. Also, Chris Evans returning as, like, you know, the real Captain America. That would be freaking sick, but it would undermine Sam Wilson's version, but we're in a multiversal storyline, so it doesn't really matter if you ask me. So likewise, guys, let us know. Like I said, going forward, I'm going to cover literally everything. So we've gone over like 5 post-credit scenes. Let me know which one sounds the most realistic to you guys. And like always, guys, check us out on Instagram, @WarStew. Check us out on Twitter, WarStewG. And I will catch ya in another video very soon. Catch ya later.